Hello, welcome to Midweek Gaming, episode number 67.
I guess I got to put on pants now, don't I?
Oh,
that's completely blown away, everything.
Yeah. But yes, welcome back to Midweek Gaming, back once again on this fine Wednesday with the weird weather in the UK. It's raining 1 minute, then it's sunny, then it's raining. It's a bit weird. But this week we have a special guest on from GBTB. Welcome, Wilmy Hood. How are you doing?
How are you? Oh, it's me. Oh, hey. Well, I just put on my shorts now because I thought we were already live. So, I'm here. I've got, a couple hours before I go live. So, let's talk about some games and some, gaming news and hell, I don't know, just talk about whatever, tea, coffee.
Oh, trust me, we'll happen. We'll divert.
Tushy, we can talk about Mr. Tushy's menstrual cycle. I really don't care. Let's just talk.
Thanks for coming on. VJ, welcome back. Have you got a cup of tea at hand, or have you got any vodka in there?
Does VJ stand for Vlo Job?
Oh, he's gone
That's
silent.
BJ.
VJ.
Yeah, Vlo.
Oh, Vlo.
Animated Evil, how are you doing? Mike's coming back on.
Oh.
Mike's muted.
You really don't look animated. Now he's muted.
No.
Yeah, his microphone's fucked.
Microphone.
now he is animated. See?
This is going to be turning into us,
In 1 minute.
charades.
Welcome back, Mr. Tushi. Nice to have you back on for the second week in a row.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
That's all right. At least it's only a localized issue for animated.
So this is basically Stubbs, Wilmy, Tushy, and Sanity. Everybody else is just in the background for right now.
Animated's going to provide us like hand motions. He's going to be like, what's this?
And welcome to RemovableSanity. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Of course, it's absolutely amazing to have Wilmy Hood on here. I mean, the celebrity of the gaming podcast world. How more could we have? Come on. How more could we? You can't just not be happy to have him on here. It's fantastic to have him on here.
I talk to Stubbs all the time, dude, in DMs. It's not a big deal. I'm just me.
No, exactly. Tell you what, though, I tell you what is nice about your show, Wilmy, is the introduction of Centurion. I think he fits in well with you guys. Really, really does.
Man, I've known Centurion for ages, so yeah, he was a good fit.
Yeah, he definitely fits in with you because I was a bit. Because I said to him, I said, I'm not sure because he goes on podcasts where he's used to waiting his turn. I said, you've just got to jump in.
Oh yeah,
and he fits in perfectly.
And he's too polite.
I've told him you need to get a bit more.
Swear more.
More.
Throw a couple of F-bombs, a couple of fuck it's, goddamn it, and all that good shit. And then we'll get him there. Don't worry.
Definitely. I'm sure you will. So I'm going to rock right with VJ. How you doing? Are you back now?
I'm back now. Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's fine.
Did he say he's Batman now?
It's only on Fridays, that is.
Thanks for coming
Batman
back.
of the California.
VJ, how
sorry?
are you doing? How are you doing,
good.
mate?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Now we're going to see if Animated Evil, if we can hear him. Now talk. He's trying. I don't know what's going on with Animated Evil currently. It's a bit of a
he is technically animated at the moment.
I'm taking care
there
of
we
it.
go.
There he goes.
There he goes.
Technical
he figured out
difficulties.
how to unmute himself.
Well, it wasn't muted. That's the question. Yeah. Great to be here. Great to have Wilmy Hood on. Awesome. And
Everybody
Mr. Tushy
keeps saying that. I'm not sure why.
It is awesome, dude. And Mr. Tushy back for the second week running. I can't believe it. What have we done to deserve this?
Someone said there was cake.
Yeah.
That's because he's ate. That's because Tushy's ate 4 times already today, and the third time was chili. Or was it the 4th time?
5 meals a day at the moment.
5, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but not 5 meals every couple of hours. That's the problem.
Well, eat 5 times a day, you can't have too much time in between, can you?
This is true.
That's true.
Yikes.
So, I want to get into the first topic.
We do topics?
Yeah, we do.
Well, we try to.
We do try to, but during topics, sometimes it veers in different directions.
I've never seen that happen on a podcast ever.
Right then. So this one was going to be the last topic, but I reckon we'll do this one first. So I'll give a friend of the show, Insipid Ghost, from the Xbox Expansion Pass, a great weekly Xbox-related podcast. He had an excellent interview with Ed Fries, who was part of the original Xbox team that launched the original Xbox back before he departed in 2004. But there was an interesting part where he was asked what he would do if he was still part of the Microsoft gaming team. And Fries didn't give an explicit answer, but he said he was scared of the impact the Gamepass could have. Should it become a dominant business model, say like Spotify has in the music industry? He has also made broad claims about Spotify's impact on the music industry, some of which have been disputed by experts. The one thing that they're doing that makes me nervous is Gamepass. He said Gamepass scares me because there's a somewhat analogy thing called Spotify that was created for the music business. When Spotify took off, it destroyed the music business. It literally cut annual revenue of the music business in half. The former execs claimed. It's made it so people just don't buy music anymore. People don't buy songs on the iPhone, for example, because why would you? They're all in a subscription service. Apple's also said Apple said they're going to take away buying songs because no one's buying them anymore. I'm not quite sure that's true, but who knows? Yeah, there Wilmerhood goes. He could buy all. Yeah, he obviously buys songs still.
That's nothing. Where did you see his movie collection?
Oh God, yes. Big glad my movies aren't on my phone.
Yeah, just part of what he said. So we have to be careful we don't create the same system in the game business. These markets are more fragile than people realise. So basically, with that in mind, obviously he's aiming at a Game Pass, but I was just thinking, with all the subscription services you have now, do any of you think that these kind of services will have a negative impact in the future?
No.
I don't mean from a consumer standpoint, because I've seen a lot of people talking about the gamer perspective and the consumer. I'm talking from the business point of view. I don't mean, because there will, as good as Game Pass is and PlayStation Plus, etc., some companies will be affected negatively by these services. They will, as an industry, but as a gamer, they're excellent deals. What's your take on it, Wilmy?
Well, the first thing you have to remember is people aren't putting these games into Game Pass for free.
Oh,
Microsoft is paying these developers that aren't their first party studios to put these into Game Pass, so they're not losing anything. And if it's a Microsoft studio, who cares? I mean, I've actually played a few games on Game Pass and then turned around and bought the game. And as far as ruining the music industry, Beyonce isn't crying on a bicycle. The whole bitch is like crying in a Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? She's crying in Lamborghinis, and even most of us, we're all probably. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest person on the panel at 49. But the thing is, technology changes. You have to change with it. We didn't have internet when I was a kid. My kids grew up with it.
That is.
I've learned to adapt to it. I run my business with it. You have to learn to change, and that's what it is. It's just it's a change that's going to happen whether some people get it or not. I mean, that's it. Spotify, all these subscription services. It was only a matter of time when the internet got huge and more people was, able to get broadband internet. So I don't see where it's going to ruin gaming. And as far as I'm concerned, it's good for me. So I guess I'll be the selfish consumer.
Well, no, that's all that matters. I mean, it's like, I know it was impacted because Dr. Dre's obviously a millionaire, but that was why he created Beats by Dre. Then he sold out to Apple.
Exactly.
Years later for a few billion. Do you know what I mean? So it's still a profitable business. It is just, it's he's not in the music business, but I think he was maybe slightly exaggerating it. But I don't buy music, but you can still buy music. I don't believe Apple are going to remove the option of buying music. No chance.
No, and they still sell the subscriptions to Apple Music, and
I will say one thing.
YouTube has their thing, and everybody's got one now.
Over the years, though, there has been big music artists that have had to take Spotify to court because they weren't paying them, things like that, or not paying them enough, and they usually always win. There was cases as well.
It's not the same if you guys are old enough to remember Napster.
Oh, LimeWire, big time, yes, Napster.
Yeah, remember when Metallica took Napster to court? Now, that was a little different because, people were I was on there. I'm not going to lie. I was taking music from Napster. It killed 2 computers for me. And back then, they were a lot more expensive than they are now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's sort of the same thing, except now because, say Tushi is buying music. Say these services weren't available.
Yeah.
And he may buy one song every 6 months. And now, if they're charging him $15 per month for music, they're guaranteed 12 payments of $15 per month each year. So it doesn't matter how many songs he purchases, they're still going to get paid each month.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, no, that's fair enough, Wilmy. Animated, seeing as you might play it up, I'm going to be you next.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm in complete agreement with Wilmy. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken. I grew up buying CDs. I even grew up with cassettes, would you believe? Cassettes.
Oh, I remember cassettes, rave tapes, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You used to be able to tape off the radio. Not allowed to tape off the radio, but we did back in the day. So how was that any different?
Yes, we did.
How was that any different? It's not, is it? Let's be honest.
No, not at all.
We did buy, but we still had the option to record onto another.
Or the radio.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, the radio. Yeah, I remember Judge Jules, a lot of drum and bass DJs used to record off the radio straight away.
Absolutely.
Then you get mad. You get mad because you'd fuck up and get a commercial.
Yeah. Quick, pause.
Sit your finger on the pause button, so you didn't get it.
See, in my case, I'd be recording Motley Crue, girls, or something, and then all of a sudden you'd hear a Massengill commercial. We're not the best thing in the world, but we're right up there. You guys will get that in a few seconds, I promise.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am all about what's good for me. I can't see it killing games. I mean, who here has played a game they wouldn't have played on Gamepass because it's on Gamepass? I know I have. I'm guilty of it. There's lots of these games that I've played that I wouldn't have even tried, let alone purchased.
Agreed.
Every month as well.
I mean, that is true, but there's also people who, because obviously they pay for Game Pass and they can't afford other games, won't play other games outside of the service. So that will be the developers from that perspective would be affected because they're not in there.
Not really, because they're still paid for it.
They would have got the money anyway, would they? If you can't afford to buy a game a month, he's not going to get it anyway. If it's going in Game Pass, it's going to all the developers in that circle.
But it will take Microsoft about 10 years to work out whether Game Pass, a long time to work out whether there is any. The impacts won't come for years. So it's not.
I wouldn't say that. The way technology is growing, you quickly find out with all the data they're collecting. It may have been when it first started. Now I think they can pretty much guess the impact of that pretty quickly.
I mean, Microsoft. We all know Microsoft's goal is to crush physical media. That was why Game Pass came out. Everyone knows that. You won't ever get them to admit it, but that was one of the goals. They won't ever go on the record and admit that. But yeah,
well, can't you see why though? With that, like for example, when they launched Xbox One, all this DRM stuff, it was just to stop the second-hand market. The gaming industry is losing billions per year just because some fat man in the middle was selling second-hand games in the shop.
GameStop.
Exactly. Everyone's just moving billions of fans every year out of the gaming industry.
It's a shame, though. It's like when I play my Sega Mega Drive and my retro, that future generations won't be able to do that on the Series X. It'd just be dead. Once the servers are turned off for that specific console, it's dead.
Paul says send him a link, losers.
The link's in the DM.
Let's just scroll up a bit.
Yeah.
See, and you guys are telling me that Paulie got a kissing disease. Man.
Well, that's what he told us. Is if he's decided to change his mind, you know.
But yeah.
Also,
No,
on this topic, I think that the way that the world's going regarding all these subscription services, I think it's been brought piracy right down as well, compared to what it used to be, say 10 years ago or something.
That is a good point. That is.
It's like years ago, I used to pirate loads of movies. I used to have like terabytes of this media on my computer, but now I don't have any. I just subscribe to everything. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Faffing about.
Saves you hard drives too.
It's the same with the games on PC and stuff. And it's just, I've got Gamepass on Ultimate, so I just use the games off Gamepass.
Oh, piracy! There's only one place that doesn't really do a lot towards piracy. Is it GOG? They removed the DRM for all the games. Is that right? Is it GOG?
When you get the games off the thing, they're usually GOG games, I think.
I'm sure it's one of the big ones. They removed the DRM. A lot of them don't have DRM in. I might be wrong. I believe it's GOG, someone like that. But yeah, you are right. Piracy's down big time compared to what it was, especially in the PC space.
Now, if we could just get it to where people quit cutting those damn notices off their mattresses, we'll be good.
Yep.
Oh no, he has got the invite. There we go.
Come on, Paul.
He's chomping on a bloody pineapple pizza. That's what it is.
Yeah. By the way, it is GOG.com that has removed the DRM from all their older games.
There we go. I was right to a degree. I heard something about it.
He wanted to jump in just to say that. That's all.
That's all it was. Yep.
He's like, Stubbs doesn't know what he's talking about yet again. I need to sort it out.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll stay for the whole show because I do have a headache and wearing a headset is a pain in the butt right now and it hurts.
Well, it should be a pain in the head, dude.
Yeah. But I had to come on because here's Wilmy. And remember, everybody, every time you see me on a show, it's Wilmy's fault, okay? Every single time.
I have. If I was Catholic, dude, and if I weren't atheist, I would actually say 10 Hail Marys. I would do my penance like a good little Catholic boy.
Somewhere animated. Well, seeing Centurion.
Centurion?
Cerebral just jumped in.
Wow, dude! Wow, you missed 1 week. You missed 1 week.
I'm just good at getting people sidetracked. It's amazing how I got that quality. I do the same thing in the real world too.
Have you got any takes on this Ed Fry's comments, or did you catch it, Cerebral?
I'm sure. What were we talking about again? I came in late.
Basically, Ed Fry's ex-executive.
Oh yeah, he can bite me.
I got you a different article. I did.
Yeah, I know, because I told you I'm not going to go off any information from that one publication, even if even if the information is real. I'm never going to push people to that publication. I refuse. You know,
and we're not going to mention it on here either.
You'll notice I'm avoiding it. You'll notice.
Yeah.
I think I don't know that he actually has any clue what he's talking about. He's no longer, he hasn't been with Microsoft for quite a while. He doesn't have any access to any more information than we do as far as what the numbers are doing and stuff. I don't think that it's, going to be the next Spotify and the destruction of the gaming industry and all that crap that he,
Doesn't he work at Starbucks now?
Maybe he's Jaffe's producer for his show now. I don't know.
Well, the Game Pass segment of the podcast, he didn't actually mention. It wasn't actually a question by Insipid Ghost. He just any other thoughts on anything. He just mentioned it. It was literally last about a minute or so talking about it. It wasn't long.
Opportune moment. I think the word is said, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. I don't. Will the industry change? Yes. Will it be for the better or for the worse? We can't say that yet, but industries always change, things change, and I've used this quote before. It's my favorite quote from Lee Iacocca, lead follower, get out of the way. It's, things change, and we can't hold back for fear of it changing necessarily for the bad thing for some people, because that's just the way of the world. I mean, automation is taking away a lot of manual jobs. Does that mean we want to go back to the manual labor thing? Maybe, but
Now, you said it took away a lot of jobs. When I give myself a hand job, I don't want something.
Well, yeah.
Doing it for me.
No, we saw that. We saw that on. We saw that on the big. We saw that on the Big Bang Theory. When he tried to use a little robot hand to do something and it didn't quite work out.
That was early prototype. You want the 5th gen?
Yeah.
Ask Tushi.
I'll hook you up after the show.
Yeah, since I don't have Husky anymore, I got to have somebody make the Elvis vibrator now. So Tushi.
Yeah, I know. Well,
cerebral that is. I mean, if you do ask me in the 360 days, would I think a service like Gamepass would be about, or even downloads would be the norm? I would have told you, piss off, no chance. Do you know what I mean? But here we are.
Well, no, we saw the early days of that with the Xbox Arcade, though. So
no. Yeah, but I didn't think it was going to become a big thing. That was all.
Right.
Back then, I didn't. No.
I remember when digital first came. Well, not first came, but on Xbox, I remember I bought a digital game and it felt weird because it felt like I spent like £50 or something, and I had nothing in my hand for it. It was really weird, like adapting to it.
Yeah.
But now, fuck media. I hate physical media. Can't stand it.
I guess it's weird because where Stubbs couldn't see that. Stubbs couldn't see that happening. I'm always forward thinking. I'm always thinking, well, this is for good, bad, or indifferent. I'm always thinking, well, what could this lead to? And so that's why it doesn't surprise me where we're going. I can see at some point we'll be 100% digital. How they're going to deal with that, I don't know.
Well, I'd say I'd agree with you, because the recent stats on the PlayStation Store, I think it's jumped to 71% of that digital. That's big. Mm-hmm. That is.
Yeah.
And it was 50-something% when the height of the pandemic, and it's jumped to 71 now. So that just shows you people have got more faith in it now than they did previously.
Yep. And I think that since that genie is out of the bottle, even post-pandemic, we're not going to see those numbers switch back to the other way.
I don't either.
Convenience as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't want to get up off the couch to change.
Right. And that's, they finally, as the pandemic went on, I don't remember if we ever discussed this on your show, Wilmy, but more people started to experience life kind of like I do, where I have to do my shopping online. I have to do a lot of it, get it brought to me instead of the other way around. Well, now all of a sudden everybody had to do that. So good, bad, or indifferent, that's I hate the term, but that may be for many people the new normal,
Who's everybody, dude? I didn't do that.
Well, but you're weird. But you're weird.
I love nothing more than going into a grocery store.
I know.
Watching some old white bitch lose it and start cussing at me.
Well, that is always fun. Yes, yeah.
I always enjoy
Karen. I think her name wasn't it?
I do miss my 2 a.m. trips to Walmart to see what shows up.
There's always one
story
that I enjoyed from Wilmy Hood.
Well, I mean, I was in the store. I'm pretty sure you guys don't have them there. It's called Harris Teeter. It's a really expensive grocery store, right?
Right.
They're super fancy. And I'm walking through the store and I've got a mask over my face, but I have asthma, right? So I carry one of these little things.
Little inhaler.
Yeah. So I'm in the store. This old woman walks by me and her perfume literally made my eyes water and took my breath. I mean, that's how strong. I mean, the woman bathed in the shit.
Extra spice.
Oh my God, dude. So I had to put my mask down to take a couple of puffs off my inhaler. I mean, she was just that strong. She had nothing on Pepe Le Pew. And,
wow.
And dude, she turns around and starts fussing at me. Well, why ain't you got a mask on? I'm like, because bitch, you just suffocated my ass. I was like, I had to use my inhaler. I was like, go on down the hallway. Just leave me the fuck alone. And I would just, I just love those random encounters with people. It makes me a people person.
Tell you what, there's one story sticks in my mind about you, is where you were queuing up in a Walmart or whatever, and you were looking at the Wilmy Hood page. You don't know that twat, do you? And all
Lowe's Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Dude, sitting there talking all that shit. I never have seen that guy again either.
No.
That was weird.
That was a
I
funny
live
story.
here on the coast, so he may have been a tourist. God only knows. But I love people, and it just shows.
Yeah.
I do too, but I mean, but as far as generally the ease of being able to, especially digital games, or you know, and for those that live in areas where Amazon has the same day delivery thing, you know, a lot of people would spend the extra $5 too. You mean I don't have to get off my ass, get in my car, go to the Walmart and get my shit, or go to, you know, that they can have it thrown at their door, you know.
To be fair,
So
though,
yeah,
with games, if I was to where I live to buy games, like I don't have one. My nearest game shop is 20 miles away each way.
which it's funny. You live on like one of the smallest island countries in the world, and you live far from everything. I don't know how you do that. I don't.
We have that knack.
I'm closer to removable than anyone.
And it tells.
That's too
Don't
What the-
lie, Stubbs. I'm in your attic right now.
Yeah.
I thought I could hear something.
I'm 1 hour 14 minutes from animated.
Oh.
Oh, not bad. Not bad.
1 hour 13 minutes from Mackie D's.
Yep. Animated's about 2.5 hours from where I'm. Stubbs is an hour away from me.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the middle in a way.
I know. But yeah. Yes, Reebok, very good points you've got. Tushi, you got
Okay,
any
guys.
points on this?
Give me just 1 second, because this asshole's not going to stop calling. I'm still
fine.
technically working.
You go
I'll
for
be
it,
right
mate.
back.
Okay.
Tushi, you got any points on this topic?
I've already spoke really, but
Yeah.
the way it's going is the way I want it to go, so I'm happy. Very happy. Remember the story about me being banned from the game shop, and I said I'm going pro digital, and that's where it's going, so I'm happy.
Well, you're standing by your decision and fair play.
And that dickhead in the shop won't have a job soon, so I don't give a shit.
He's probably not even working there. A long time ago.
Probably not.
No. Well, just do shout outs in chat. Welcome to Matt Barnes, Darren, Derek Draconius. Who else we got in chat? Masuku as well. Let's go chat a bit more. VJ's also in chat. Back from the dead. Welcome. Animated
And cerebral.
I'm surprised VJ hasn't said a word since I joined. Usually he would have some smart ass remark by now.
Come on, VJ.
Give it
Bring on
time.
some pineapple.
Hey,
Bring on
There
some
he
pineapple.
is.
Lazy food.
Somebody wake VJ up.
I'm away. I'm away. I'll just.
And removable. Have you got any thoughts on
Yes.
this topic? Oh, you have. I knew you would have.
I know, because I'm getting the sod is almost as old as Wilmy. So back in the days of vinyl,
Vinyl. Technic
yeah,
12,
and
Technic
the
12,
superior covers we got back then, you know,
Yeah.
it was not just about the music, it was what you got with the music. So for me, it's a bit like that for gaming, you know. I missed the art covers, I missed the manuals, the history that was always put inside the game as in it. So whilst I can appreciate that we are going to go digital, I mean, it's going to happen. Come on, let's face it. I still do miss the physicals.
So, last generation, they started giving you the games without the books anymore. It'd just be printed on the inside of the case.
That's right. Yep.
Or you're getting
Yep,
online links,
yeah, it was
so you
it.
didn't even get the book anymore.
Or it came just 2 sleeves with like an insurance policy or something saying, please go here.
Yeah, basically.
to read the manual. And it's like, oh, for crying out loud. So, no, I think I agree exactly with what we said. It's a new system. It's a new service. It's going to basically be around forever. I think it's only going to get more integrated in all our lives and systems. And as long as Microsoft is making money, as long as the developers are making money, no one's going to care, in all honesty. No one's going to care. As long as the only people who are going to care are the gamers, and if they don't get a nice slice of that pie, then they won't pay for it. They'll use their wallets. You know, that's the only thing I can see of this going wrong is if they cock up or if there is a DRM issue and you can't play your games when the service goes down. That's the only other thing I can see that's probably going to end up causing problems, which has recently happened. So,
Yep.
I mean, I think I've spoken about this numerous times. They really should have sorted this out early on in this existence.
Well,
But
here's
now,
the thing: a lot of it is sorted out. It just a lot of people don't know about the workarounds, or a lot of people are using game sharing, which throws it off. It's so the systems are there, but Microsoft needs to make it more known how to get around it when the systems are down. Yeah. Because I know how to do it, and I know how to tell people how to do it. But if you're game sharing, you're not actually on your account on your home Xbox. There really is no way around that right now, because you're really, some people think that, well, Microsoft allows this. Yeah, they allow it, but they don't consider it a proper function of the service. They're not encouraging it by any means. They just know you're going to do it.
They have got an official, because it was Scott that found it. They have actually got an official page about game share, and it's official, so it's supported.
Yeah.
Just obviously they don't promote it. Obviously,
right.
They have got an official page. They have about it.
Well, they do, but it's all, if you use it, here's one of the drawbacks. If the system goes down, if you don't have access to the internet, you're screwed. But it's not their fault you're screwed. It's kind of your fault you're screwed. Yeah.
I think the concept is more around it's supposed to be within your own house. Really.
Yes, exactly right. And if they really wanted to be dicks, they could do that, because I believe Netflix has tried that, where it's limited to IP. If it registers,
an extra £2 they're going to be charging people. Well, I don't think that's wise to you.
It's really
the way you're losing subs.
Yeah.
It's just gone up,
I think the question that I've always argued with and always asked for is, with physical media, my collection could be transferred from me to family members without any issues. And if I pass on, I can pass it to my kids, and that can be passed to them as an inheritance. With digital media, that really hasn't been looked into yet. And to be honest with you, it's getting close of where they really do potentially need to do that. Nothing personal. If you're an old fart like me, we've got maybe 30 years, maybe if I'm lucky, at a push, not maybe where I'm going, but I really would like to leave that selection of, especially the collection I have created and curated over this time, to be passed to my family members, as after all, I paid for it. So
yeah, it'd be nice if there was a way, and we've been talking about that for the upwards of 20 years. But there,
exactly,
how do you do it in such a way that secures it so that
I want to be buried with my fucking hard drive so no one has me fucking games.
Mate, with the stuff that's on your hard drives, that's probably a wise move.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm gonna have the only coffin that when you close it, it's got a flat screen where my, it's right at my face. You've
got the Simpsons version, isn't it?
Yeah,
they can actually, on the tombstone, they can press the little button and there's a little video camera feed.
That's right. Yeah,
you're streaming from the dead.
Yeah.
I'd have that, and I've like the the Kazookas playing on repeat.
Welcome to Goat Force Gaming and Muppet as well.
Before or after poo?
Thanks for popping in.
It's VJ's turn now. Speaking of that,
right, VJ, have you got any thoughts on this?
I'm not all there today.
Yes.
So I was just going to say I'm not all there at the moment. I'm not quite myself, so I'll just I'll give it a go. Yeah. So I think you were talking about like in terms of the industry and consumer. So
yeah,
I think if you're a gamer, if you're a consumer, just like us guys, right, then we don't ultimately, what I'm hearing, we don't really care, right, until it's really an issue that either affects our pocket, as me and Removable would often discuss. If there's longer term, if there's better quality content, consistently on offer elsewhere on PC or PS5 or Nintendo, whatever, or if you're an idiot, right, on Twitter, which there are far too many for my liking, who are far too sensitive towards game slippage, right, and they get offended by it.
Oh, not me.
And then you've got. Sorry, did someone want to say something?
No. I'm just prattling about. Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Oh, sure. So thank you. So then you've got like Xbox's perspective, right? Gamepass is sort of aligned with Microsoft sort of primary company business objectives. i.e. services for what is it for monthly, quarterly, or annual subscription fee. And it's a model that, as a company or as a corporation, they really understand and they believe in. Besides the fact that it contributes predictable cash flow, which any business would want, right? And especially if you guys have been in business or are still in business, etc. And they believe it's going to prove to be really profitable for them, right? As it is, that model is going to, as it has been for their other divisions over a couple of decades at least, right? And they're going to continue to invest into it. Untethered, really, right? I mean, it's a very unpredictable beast. And then for Xbox, the way they're going about it, right, is fundamentally and I agree with Paul. The fact that you can't change the way that the world is evolving. You can't even change your next door neighbor, right? You can't even change people, right? It's very, very difficult. And for Xbox, if you take a look back and just strategically look at what they've had to do, what they've been through, and what they're doing right now is fundamentally changing, and they can afford to do it as well. Let's be really clear, right? Is sort of, and I've talked about this before, is remodifying or the changing of the remodification of gamers, right? In terms of their expenditure, their thought process, their gaming habits, and they're doing it all via Game Pass, and it's all really quite visible. And they know that they must make it work. It will be a key contributor to their business as a whole. What they're hoping for over the next 5 to 10 years, and it's definitely going to have a bearing on the industry. So if you want to look at the industry in terms of developers and publishers, it was really interesting. I was talking to a distributor. I still got some good contacts in Europe, and I was shocked when. I don't know if I was talking to you, Removable, or to you, Stubbs. Was that when I asked them, what were the physical sales? Elden Ring, right? How many did they ship? I won't disclose how many they shipped physical units, but it was quite a tremendous amount, and it was 80-20 in favor of PlayStation in a quarter where Microsoft announced that they were the best-selling console in the Western markets. And the thing is, you may sort of take that as a negative, but that may be a feather in the cap for Game Pass as to why people are purchasing an Xbox over a PS5, given the anomaly that as I said about the Xbox outselling the PS5, because it is an anomaly. And then you've got sort of publishers like Square Enix, right? And I'm a big fan of Square Enix. I've grown up on all of their games since the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So I'm as old. Actually, I'm a little bit older than Will me, so it makes me.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you take Square Enix as an example, right? And it's just an example, and it's Western titles all came to Game Pass pretty much, right? And they're well documented, sort of in the recent, at least in the last 18 months, right? They're all well documented. It's all well documented in terms of their sort of trials and tribulations, right? They were all huge budget, decent games, but no retail traction, right? And so they went to Game Pass. They didn't collect $200 in order to sort of mitigate losses, and then obviously ultimately they've sort of ended up having to sell their US operation. And it's got nothing to do with Game Pass, right? Square Enix's plight is not entirely a consequence of Game Pass. However, you have to note that consumers today, more and more so, are guessing, suggesting, expecting, and even sort of willing games and new releases to come to Game Pass, right? You're seeing the trend, and we talked about this last year, I think, on this show, right? And this trend or mindset shift, right, will inevitably hinder potential retail sales of certain, even many retail games, right? And that especially the ones that don't hit the mark for you, right, or the mainstream crowd for and that could be for a dozen different reasons. We don't know. And Game Pass is a factor. You can't deny that, right? So if you're looking from an industry point of view, so publishers like, I think Square Enix and even Warner, from what I'm hearing, for example, and others, are already making very different creative and business and fundamentally investment decisions, right? And because they're feeling the impact, right? And they also don't know what the future holds, right? Because it's primarily in Xbox's hands, right? Or Microsoft's hands, right? And so I think some of these companies, maybe the smaller ones, perhaps even the large ones, do publishers align with Sony and Nintendo with exclusive lines, and sort of market that fact, really vigorously, that these games won't come to Game Pass. So if you want it, you've got to buy it, right? Or produce games with the potential to end up as Game Pass contenders, primarily, or perhaps take two bites of the cherry, release it at retail, see how it does, and then dump it in Game Pass, knowing that they're just going to make a huge loss. It's a really difficult time, I think, for publishers right now, from a strategic point of view, not in terms of the cash flow that they've got coming in, because they're making a lot of money, right? Even though when we hear that games aren't selling well or they're having a tough time, then you look at their results and thinking, what's all the fuss about? That's like 2 billion in bloody microtransactions last quarter. I'd love to be in that game. But then I guess that's probably why. I don't know what, I'm not saying this is a fact, but then I'm kind of thinking, like, is that the reason why there's so much of talk in terms of mergers in sort of these sort of uncertain times, hence, constant rumors of M&As. And I think it's because no one is taking Xbox lightly. It's as I was saying before, it's financially untethered and unpredictable that that a company it's had a checkered past, right? Being a creator and destroyer of companies, right? And if you don't believe me, you can just go and do your own research on that, right? And then you've got outside of Sony, Nintendo, and the like that sort of going along their sort of typical sort of business strategies, right? Being a Japanese company, being risk adverse, and they are continually right now focused on new big budget sort of creative developments, right? And and I think that for other companies, the third party publishers that aren't platform holders, I think they're in a real serious predicament, and I think that consumers may end up being the poorer for it, depending on the type of games you like to play. If you're an indie game lover, then you haven't really got a problem. But if you're someone that likes to play big AAA games, then they might become few and far between, right? Because games aren't costing any less money to make. And I know that. Then just to touch on indie gamers, if I can, right? Indies grow, right? And I've been to the mobile gaming industry, especially when Hutchinson, begging game companies to make games for them, right, for their service, right, and paying them to do so, obscene amounts back in the day, like it is pretty much now for Gamepass, right, for certain companies that are benefiting from it. So indie devs, right, they grow a bright future via subscription service, and you see the occasional company coming out saying, oh, it's brilliant, it's fantastic, it's wonderful, and we've made a load of money. I would suggest that in the scheme and the perspective of things, that it's equivalent to a handful of talented studios with timely, semi-unique titles who are then sort of chosen out of thousands, right, in order to, and Removable can probably speak to this better than me, because I've got my facts all back to front, which I often do, and they choose those companies and those games in order to sort of flesh out Game Pass inexpensively, especially given the sort of, I would say take it with a pinch of salt, because I'm a bit contentious about people touting that Game Pass generates $4.5 billion dollars a year annually, given their 25 million subscribers, because I don't know anyone who pays full price for it. So then you've got. Is that okay to carry on, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So.
Go for it.
I can stop if you want. No,
I do have something to add that before I want to say it before I lose it.
Nobody wants to hear it. Go ahead.
Shut up. Video gaming isn't the only industry making this paradigm shift, by the way. I mean, when you look at the fact that, the Multiverse of Madness, which just came out last week, is going to be on streaming by the end of the month in June. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. Some of us are making the decision not to go see it in the theaters because we know it's coming to streaming. Absolutely. It's the same idea with Game Pass. We're waiting to buy games because we know it's going to come to Game Pass. It's the same mentality. So it's not only a gaming thing. It is other industries are seeing it as well. Yep. The movie industry is key, because that's the second movie that's gone to streaming within a month or so after it dropped.
I'm with you, Paul. Look, I don't have the biggest budget in the universe, and I'm when I think about how much it costs to take the family and everybody to the cinema, pay for the gas, pay for the popcorn. It's horrible, actually, in these cinemas and AMCs. But
it is here too, VJ.
And the hot dogs are awful, and But anyway, sorry, Wilmy, you wanted to make a point. So please go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying it's expensive to go to the theaters here. We call them theaters, not cinemas. Because you take a family out here, you're looking at about $200 to go watch a movie.
Wow,
crazy!
How big is your family? Will be? Holy crap!
Dude, that's like if I take my two daughters,
and their kids,
me, the wife. If you buy a drink, and plus, we have those fancy theaters here with the moving seats, and they're like big recliners that turn into beds, and
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just had another thought. Sorry, if you don't mind. if you don't mind. And I'm in an agreement with you guys, right? Because if you think how many times a year you take your family to the cinema, it sounds like Woomy goes every week. You could take that money, invest in a massive TV, surround speakers or whatever you want to call them, and a nice big leather reclining sofa, and just chill out at home, right, with no issues. So, but for me, it's a case of for Xbox, they are going to have an impact, and they are having an impact on third parties and larger partners in general as their first party games and their acquisitions come online, and they've got a huge back catalogue now, especially when this deal goes through with Activision and Blizzard and King, and especially King, etc. The currently afforded slots to third party sort of how can I put it, third party AAA games or that have either failed or suffered at retail, and even indie games for that matter, I believe, because I've kind of seen this before in the mobile industry. They will find that the current, and this is from a developers and publishers point of view, right, or an individual creator's point of view, they're going to find that the current seemingly really opulent sort of monetary terms and opportunities for placement in Game Pass will be diminished and somewhat rescinded, or fewer and far between. And they're going to find that the terms are not as beneficial as they are today, right? Because right now, as I say, Microsoft are in investment mode, right? It's an inevitability. Some may say, well, that's a possibility, and some may say, well, that's the fact, right? I don't know. Do your own research in terms of Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo's business practices over the long haul, because I've seen them to be very good to the people that they need to be and very ruthless to the people who they feel perhaps maybe a threat to them longer term, right? And that's just businesses, as I think Woomy was saying earlier on. So Game Pass is as yet, I can't tell you if it's not proven or sustainable. I'm sure games cost much more money than to make a song by an indie producer. I don't know, right? I mean, I guess it just depends, right? I don't know too much about the music industry, and my concern is that right now, that the amount of money that certain people are being paid and they're crowing about, especially indie developers, that it's kind of almost like a form of artificial inflation, and that's always a danger, right? And then you're going to get a lot of people out there with a sound, well, seemingly sort of sound of mind people out there, right? And they're going to say that surely it has to become profitable over the coming years, otherwise the fallout could be immense, right? But I just don't think that Microsoft is in a position where they'll ever be a casualty of such things, right? And I don't even think that Microsoft or an Xbox isn't even what. Let's put it this way, right? I don't think if Xbox were to sort of dither or sort of fall apart, which it probably would never do so, but it is just so insignificant, right, in terms of a business to Microsoft, right? Unlike Spotify being its own sort of standalone entity, right? So, but for me, ultimately, these are just observations. I think that, as Wilmy and Paul were saying, that any industry, as it evolves or as time goes by, as over the decades, right, there's always those that benefit and those that definitely, I don't know, can you call it victims? Is that the right word? Right.
No, I don't think victim is the right word. If they fall behind on the technology or on society, that's their own fault.
Casualties. Yeah.
Yeah, casualty would be a better word.
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's just I'm not quite awake yet on that front this morning. My battery is still recharging. So. But I think that Game Pass is ultimately lasting effect of consumers, publishers, and creators in the industry. Can't be judged right now, but. The thing is that I think that right now, I know that a lot of people want to pipe up about Game Pass and being great and fantastic. Yeah, it is for consumers, but right now I think this early on, the reason why I find it interesting is to sort of observe it and inquire about it and ask hard questions. And to be honest with you, even stupid questions, right? Because stupid questions sometimes generate a really good response if it's done, in a how can I call it? Not in a structured manner. What's that word? Removable? Can you help? Anyway, yeah.
Concise.
Not in a concise manner. Constructive.
Yeah.
Constructive manner. Yeah.
I was thinking quadriplegic clusterfuck, but hell, I was wrong.
There you go. That works too. Yeah.
But the problem is that when you try to have these discussions on some channels or on Twitter, and that's why I like these shows, is that you have these people that are sort of, how can I put it, piously inebriated over some acquisition or a moral superiority over a company that produces a game that you like, right? Or a platform holder that if you really look at, just wants you in their chambers, fondling their lubricated controller exclusively, right? I mean, that's the fact, right? Yep. So if we don't have these discussions, ultimately it's not really a healthy communication. So anyway,
my favorite narrative is, Phil said in 2020 that they'd be cranking out games, X amount per quarter per year. And but the other part of that was he said things wouldn't be back to normal till 2 to 3 years after the pandemic was over. So you're looking at 24, 25. So you have to remind them that those that are screaming, where are the games, where are the games, where are the games? It's like, dude, we're less than 2 years out of that statement.
That's what I said.
And
That's what I said at the beginning, Paul. I said, some do have an idiotic sensitivity to game slippage, right?
Yeah,
as being offended by it, right?
Yep. They don't want to see the big picture. They don't want to see beyond their want and need.
You're saying some. I'm thinking like a huge majority.
Yeah. Well, and like I posted, and I believe this, there are many more things for me to be stressed out, worried about than whether Starfield is coming out this year. Do I want it to? Absolutely.
Damn right.
But am I going to throw a fit and say what a nasty job Phil is doing or any of those other people are doing because it's not coming out this year? No, because God damn it, there are so many more important things to be worried about. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could, and then you could go online and try to say you take credit for,
VJ, you're talking to someone called Wilmy Hood who's got over 200,000 people blocked. So that's why he says.
Is that a true figure, or is that something?
That's very true.
That's a very much a true figure. Yeah, I can imagine that.
I have 238,000 people blocked.
Wow.
How do you manage to block so many? Is that over a number of years, or?
Oh yeah, I've been on Twitter for like 10 years.
Oh yeah, Wilmy's blocked me like 3 times already. So
I have never blocked you.
I know. Twitter just decides that we don't want to talk to each other anymore. Twice, Twitter has decided that we don't want to be friends anymore. It's like, really?
It's done that to me and a couple of my panel members a few times.
Yeah.
Just to Paul's point. Sorry, was it you, Paul, or Wilmy? You both sound so similar. It's confusing. But the point being is that
wow,
you are going to get people that are upset. It's not about Starfield being delayed. It's about the fact that the narrative that's out there is Xbox is there, Xbox is going to do this, and blah blah blah, and they don't want to see their sensitivities being trod on, and the delay is that's what it's doing, right, on a personal level. So they react in silly ways, right? And then you've got other people. What's that word? I'm not really up on like popular pop culture terms, but roasted, is it? They get roasted by the opposition.
Yeah.
I think the issue for Microsoft, and I've talked about the issue and Phil's greatest strength and his greatest weakness. Exactly this, one and the same thing, right? So I won't go into that. But the issue is, and if you're looking at it from a bigger picture and from a business perspective, and you're looking at it sort of constructively and sensibly, is that at some point Xbox is going to get it right. It's an inevitability, right? And they've gone from producing games, sort of via using five or six guys on a game, right, and sort of micromanaging, via spreadsheet production, right, and you've seen where that's got them not very far, right, over the last 10, 15 years. Then they switched to giving studios complete and utter freedom, budget, and just saying, hey, how's everything going, and support. And I think that the one thing that's missing it's absolutely fine to give freedom and support, but it's no good to you. It's no good to anybody, not yourself and not the people you're investing in, if you don't couple that with discipline. And I think that is the issue. And Phil is far too often getting caught with his pants down, and that's down to him to fix. Yeah. And
the interesting thing is, as more of this stuff gets put off, let's say pushed into 2023, well, then all of a sudden the release calendar for 2023 gets too crowded, so they're going to have to push some of the stuff, even though it's ready, off to 2024. Because
Paul, that goes to the question I was saying to you, that they will very soon, or if not already now, maybe not this year, but it's going to become a buyer's market in terms of the content that they can acquire for very cheap to put into Game Pass at the there's a word for it, at the crippling effect to third party publishers and indie developers.
Yeah. Because even they, if they release too many big games all at once, none of those games are going to get played because we're all going to get overwhelmed. It already happens.
People.
We don't care what you said. We don't give a shit what you said. So no, I'm just kidding. But it's true. Like when they announced that Starfield was supposed to be in November, and then Harry Potter was supposed to be like 3 weeks before that. You remember my first response was that'll give me 3 weeks to play Harry Potter before Starfield comes out. And now they've both been pushed to 2023. You know, it's like, oh, come on.
Now you have to go back to playing with yourself.
Well, I do that all the time anyway, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, so
but yeah, it's so, as silly as it sounds, there can be too many games released too quickly where I have no time to finish any of them. I mean, you know.
I just have a thing that I just have a concern that Wilmy's really sort of enamored with like fondling his own controller exclusively on a constant basis. Well, that's how it seems to come across. Forgive me if I've got it wrong.
Nobody loves me like me.
That's right. And Wilmy loves his controllers. He's got a lot of them. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few.
I don't think you've got as many as Tushi.
He's got a lot more than I've only got.
No, he's got it. Yeah, Wilmy has a wall up there. I believe it's to his right, or maybe it's left. But he's got a wall of controllers up there somewhere, I think.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly,
I've got them in 2 different rooms.
Yeah, 2 different rooms now.
I remember seeing one a long time ago. It's probably about 2 years ago. It was a controller that was a one-off done by Probe, wasn't it?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
And I got one that I paid $700, almost $800 for.
Mm.
It was a custom Call of Duty controller.
Nice.
So
you ever used
there's only 2 of them. No, I don't use it.
If you got any spare Gears of War controllers, send them to Stubbs.
I've got a few of those, and my wife loves them. She won't give them up.
No, they're nice controllers. They are.
Matter of fact, I've got the Gears of War Xbox Series, whatever that one console was, the first.
Oh, if I have
Scorpion,
that looks so.
Yeah,
nice.
I've got the red and black Gears of War one right.
Have you
here
got the
to
white
left of
one?
my monitor?
Have you got the white icy one?
I used to have.
Oh, that's one. They look nice. That does.
I gave it to my son. No, wait a minute. It's in the game room. Yeah, we gave my son-in-law the original, and we've got that one in the game room. But we got rid of all the others.
Fair.
But
you had the
just
gun as well,
like
from Gears 5, from Gears. It used to be on the wall, didn't it, behind you?
Oh, I've still got the Lancer hanging back there.
I can see it. Yeah.
But just like as with everything, he has nothing. He cannot choose which controller to play with. He just haven't got. It just doesn't work.
Well,
it's a nightmare for him.
I've got one for each console that I use. The one in my living room to my big television. I use the new Halo Elite 2 controller.
Nice.
In here in the home office, I've got my Elite 2 controller that goes to this Xbox beside me.
Nice.
And the one in our bedroom, my wife uses an Elite 2 controller. And the one in the game room, we have an Elite 2 controller.
Nice.
I like my Elites.
You do?
Yeah, I've still been trying to replace mine. Hopefully, after my little trip to Niagara, I'll be able to afford to replace my old Elite 2. I love my Elite 2.
Now, you know it's illegal to go over the falls, right, Paul?
They've been threatening to push me over, so we'll see what happens. So, yeah.
I'll give you a push if you want.
Mm.
That'd be a long trip for you to.
Yeah.
Say again.
Yeah. That was a good topic. That was. I did not expect that to last roughly nearly 1 hour.
Well, because I derailed you a few times, which is what I'm good at.
Well done. Well done.
Yes.
It's a fun topic. That was. But yeah, I've got a community question here.
Community question. Ooh.
Yeah, community question from somebody. A good friend, Baldman Gamer of the community. He also put a tweet out himself. I thought it was quite good. What is everyone's thoughts on a new PlayStation Plus service now we have more information on the games coming to the service? Has it made you want to upgrade to a higher tier? And with the bonus of the Ubisoft Classics added at no extra cost on the cost of the extra tier, is now even more value? Because he sees it that way. And I'll just list a few of the games. There's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, For Honor, The Crew 2, Child of the Light. There's stacks of games coming. Obviously, it's not going to be for everyone, but has this news made anyone fancy getting it? Because by the way, Baldman Gamer's now interested in the top tier because of the Ubisoft games. That's why.
I may do it. I've been subscribed to PlayStation for ages anyway, so why not?
I don't know. I don't know who's got a PS5 here. I mean, I don't. I've been trying to, but I was just put off. I called GameStop yesterday because
I got 3 of them.
Hey, sorry.
I'll send you one for 4K.
Oh,
that's a hell of a lot cheaper than the $900 that Iron was selling.
No,
I got to cover shipping.
Sorry, Wilmy?
I got to cover shipping.
4K for current shipping. No, you're good. You're good. No, I was just shocked. You know, the bundle they were trying to sell. I said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And I don't have a PS4 anymore either. So, but I was having a quick look at it. Though, is it okay for me to go next? Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Jump in. I love it when you jump in, VJ. It's great.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, I won't be jumping in over the falls like Paul. But anyway, it's but I mean, I used to subscribe to PlayStation Plus, right? And I remember talking to Mr. Tushi about it, and you know, I pick it up every June, you know, for about, you know, the Sony sort of summer sale or whatever they call it, and it was for about $30. And it's funny enough because I remember talking to Mr. Tushi about it, and then I tried to I thought I'll have a look, see if they put it on sale, but they're not putting it on sale this year. So, but when I did have it, the games that I mean, again, it's really quite subjective. I thought that, you know, the 24 odd games that I'd get, you know, a year, and then I think that Final Fantasy, I think Hollow Knight might have been the last game I got. I can't remember now, but it's quite a while back. You know, it served its purpose, right? It was really, really good. But some of these higher tiers, right? I think, I don't know. From my really little knowledge, from what I know, I would suggest that the mid tier, what is it, $100 a month or $100 per annum?
Wow, $100 a month.
No, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I think only Wilby pays that. $100 per annum and access to PS4 and PS5 games is. I mean, I've spoken to one or two friends that did pay like $900 or $1,000 for a PS5, and that's pretty much the one that they're going for. But what's confused me is that I just can't figure out for the life of me, and this is a question for you guys, is this Ubisoft Plus thing included in one of these or two of these tiers? And if it is, then it would be a bargain for me, because I very rarely buy Ubisoft games, if at all. And then I know that, and I don't know if Ubisoft Plus is coming to Game Pass, if it's going to be included in the price that we currently pay for Ultima, or if it's going to be an additional bolted-on price. And I think that's going to be interesting to see. But maybe the answer's already out there. I have no idea. But if anybody on the panel knows, it would be great if you could share that.
I think it's only on the highest tier for PlayStation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. And for Xbox, that information is probably going to drop during the Bethesda Xbox show next month. I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I was going to buy, and this goes back to what Paul was saying. I was going to buy Far Cry, and it was like $20 at Far Cry 6, because Mr. Tushi recommended it. And then
such a great game.
And then Valhalla, I saw Paul play Valhalla non-stop. I mean, you know, non-stop he's playing it, and it was like I walked into GameStop just by chance, because I don't go to GameStop regularly. It's just that there's a bakery next door my wife loves to frequent, so she goes there, and then I don't want to go into a bakery. I know Mr. Tushi would, but I'll go into GameStop, and it was like $15. But it's like I didn't buy those games because I bought like half a dozen other physical games, like Lost Judgment for like $30, and then Resident Evil Village for $20, and then I bought Resident Evil
one too.
For $15. And I bought 6 games, and then I've got Game Pass, and I thought, okay, well, you know what? There's no point in buying these two because I'm never going to get around to playing it. And now, if they're coming to Game Pass by some sort of means of inclusion in Ultimate, or you know, pay an additional, I don't know, hopefully it's nominal, right, a fee to access those games via like Xbox, it'll be great. You know.
I'll tell you what, as well.
Someone is beating the hell out of their microphone.
Right.
That's you, Wilmy.
Tushi's moaning about Removable's helicopter, and
It's gone now.
I swear that's the noise of Mr. Tushi whacking his stand again. Is that not you?
No.
Making them noise?
No. What a pleasant euphemism there, Mr. Stubbs.
That was you.
It was when I told him about it. It's gone now.
Okay.
That one's mine. It don't make the same noise.
No, whatever's making that noise is...
It's Tushi.
I didn't touch
Tushi.
It doesn't matter anyway. But no, some... But the PlayStation Now, it's not PlayStation Now, is it? Sorry. The
PlayStation Plus.
Plus. I get confused with these
PlayStation
tiers.
Plus.
Plus.
Yeah.
Indie
It's a
Gamer.
PlayStation Play Pass.
Welcome. Yeah. Indie Gamer, welcome. Thanks for popping in. And Muppet, I think I've said hi to you, but I can't remember.
You did. You said hello to the Muppet.
Anyone got any thoughts on this about the extra value? It might not be extra value to you. Any thoughts? Obviously, this makes it. It's not a Game Pass competitor, but this makes it more attractive if you're at the top tier. It's getting there slowly.
If I had a PS5, I'd subscribe to the middle tier.
Oh,
But-
okay.
Which tier, Mr. Tushi?
The middle one.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing from a few friends that got a PlayStation.
I'm not going to switch until mine comes back up to renew, which I think is in December. Then I'll switch.
I had PS Now before, and I did enjoy it. It was all right. There's some good games on there.
Yeah.
Not lately. There isn't, unless you stream them.
My sub ran out last my September 2020, I think it was.
That's why.
You lost your saves. I remember that. You lost your saves and you were fuming, weren't you? Or was it? Yeah, it was you, wasn't it? Was it VJ?
Yeah.
No, I think it was you. It was. Because you obviously got to pay for cloud save, which I.
I'm going to get off this podcast and I'm going to start talking with a British accent tonight. Watch.
Jolly good, Sherwood.
Hello, I was surprised. Well, man, I was surprised to see you were doing this because this makes it a double header for you, and you usually don't do that.
I've done a few, but when Stubbs asked, I was like,
"Yeah, you've done a few, but you don't. You do them few and far between." Yeah.
Well, dude, because usually, like right now, I'm still working. Luckily, I work for myself.
Yes. Yeah, I know your boss. He's a real hardcore guy too. You know.
He can claim tax back on this.
He's a pig, is what he is. Trust me.
I still find it funny that people find out your company, ring you up and complain about you in your podcast.
It never gets old.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's mental here. Some stories.
It never gets old.
There's a guy who is very similar to Wilmy. He works for himself, and the best calls he ever got was he actually named his dogs as the secretary in his accounts data. So people would come up and ring up and go, so one of his dogs is called Bertha. So he would get phone calls saying, yeah, I've just had a conversation with Bertha and we really think this contract should go through. So he's there looking at his dog going, you what the fuck have you been talking to? Because of course there is no such thing as a secretary. He just basically named his on the systems, but people would use so many different calls. I'm sure they're probably exactly the same for Wilmy, where they'll try and use some sort of technique to get around him in some cases.
Oh yeah, and it's hilarious, and but like I said, it's funny how sad and petty people can truly be, especially over something stupid like when the chair that's behind me a few months ago. Someone actually reported this to YouTube, said the chair was racist.
The chair was racist?
Because remember that thing that was going around with Xbox, some of the trolls on Twitter was saying there was somebody racist or whatever at Microsoft. And during the podcast, they saw the chair and they reported it to YouTube. They reported my entire podcast as being full of racial whatever. And I'm sitting and I sent the request back to YouTube. I'm like, how the fuck? What the fuck was racist about any of the podcast? And they finally got back to me a couple days later. Says we have no clue. Never mind.
At that point, if YouTube is actually stumped, that says something.
No. I want to know was the chair reported to HR for racist activities? Is what I want to know,
dude. I don't know, man. It's people are just so strange, and even here on YouTube, I mean, we get comments, we get people that just I don't know, man. It gives
weird.
It backs my belief that a lot of people just should have been swallowed.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's like even what a couple of weeks ago on Fonzarelli's show when what's his name Jaffe heard my gamer tag and he was like, "Oh, that's disgusting." Yeah, his initial reaction to my gamer tag was to be offended. It's like, no, stop that. You know, it's like,
And then Fonz had to go, no, he's actually got cerebral palsy.
Yeah, I know.
He backtracked then, didn't he? He was like,
Yeah.
Well,
and you
people are
shouldn't.
just stupid.
Yeah, people look for reasons to be offended. It's like, stop it.
Well, at
Yeah.
least he
People are
didn't
just
tell you
stupid.
that you should be offended on your behalf.
Oh, I know. We've all seen that when I'm told that I should be offended. Well, you should be offended by what they said. Well, sorry, I'm not. It's just it's not going to happen. Yeah.
Do you reckon
Yeah,
people are offended by
people-
my name?
People are
Yeah.
strange.
Yep.
Anyway, back on topic with the PS Now thing I was talking about. The problem I have now is going back on my PS4 Pro is that the games feel fucking rough because I'm used to the Series X and at 120 hertz, and when you go on the PS4, the games feel horrible.
I would agree with you. Apart from the fact I use my Series X, and then also playing Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War, and them games do hold up with current gen on the Xbox Series X. They do. Them games hold up. So all the other games,
graphically,
don't,
but
though.
performance-wise, no. It's
I can't tell no difference. I must be blind.
Yeah. I can-
He's still at 30 frames.
If I go back to a console that doesn't have quick resume, I notice it right away, or the load times. It's like, oh my god, how did I?
I obviously noticed that, but they all bang on about how powerful these systems are. But graphically, God of War 2018 and Horizon Zero Dawn still match up to today's standards on the Xbox Series X.
Well,
No.
I think he's talking from an artistic perspective.
Yeah,
right?
I'm talking from-
Right.
I'm talking performance-wise.
Mr. Stubbs, Tushi's talking from a performance and a technical perspective. Is that right? So
Yes.
there's a distinction to be made there
Oh,
before
right.
we all start piling in on each other.
I mean, a visual perspective, then I still think they hold up.
Yeah, if you keep the screen still and make the character stare at the wall, it looks fine. Yeah, if you're running through something, it's all choppy as hell. It feels.
I mean,
horrible.
really, Rise Son of Rome holds up too, and look how old it is. I mean, Rise Son of Rome still looks amazing, but
See this 30 frames, 60 frames. It doesn't bother me. I don't notice it because I still play the Mega Drive as well. I'm fine. It doesn't
They ran
bother
at
me.
60. Them guys ran at 60 though.
But it makes some people sick. Some people that are now used to 60, it makes them ill when they go back to 30.
I'm really
I
sorry.
think people just like to complain. I don't give a
Right.
damn. Give me a good game. I don't care if it's running 30,
Yeah.
120,
Yeah.
As long as it's
280.
fun.
That's
Exactly.
So I was going to say two things. Wilmy makes a really good point because I really want to play Triangle Strategy and Breath of the Wild 2, regardless of the fact if they're 720p and run at 30 frames on the Nintendo Switch. And secondly, Removable, there's someone in the chat, Goat Force Gaming. You might want to send him a message because he's crying that Melina broke him.
Melina broke him. Oh,
Oh, Darren's talking about one of my.
right,
Fizzy.
yes.
He's crying out for support. And Darren, yeah, God of War is probably one of the best games that was released in the last 5 years.
And so is Visage.
I've never heard of that.
I need to
It's a-
finish Visage. I need to finish Visage.
It's a
I'm gonna have to
horror
Google one
game,
now, aren't I?
unlike any other horror game you will ever play.
Yep.
Visage.
Mm.
That on Game Pass.
And it's actually in
Yeah.
Game Pass. Yeah,
Hey, stop that mentality. What if it comes to Game Pass?
I
Stop
bought
it.
the game. I bought the game on PC and then bought it on Xbox when it came to Xbox. Then I bought it on PlayStation.
I just saw
Well,
a quick. I just saw a
Nowadays,
quick-
when it comes to horror games, the first thing I do is I message Wilmy and I go, Wilmy, what do you think about this?
you
Because
guys- you two must have, if you like horror, you must have played Resident Evil Village because that game creeped me out to no end, and I played it.
No, dude, that wasn't even scary.
I haven't
It's
played
very
Village yet.
scary.
I haven't got my hands on Village yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I loved Resident Evil Village. I thought it was fantastic, and it did. Yeah, it did scare me a little bit. I have to be honest with you. Who else here plays horror games?
I don't. No.
Yep.
No, I'm a complete coward. I can't do it.
Yeah, though it is fun when Animated does it, he'll stream it, and it's hilarious to watch.
I scream and jump. I act like a little girl. I really do. I'm
So
terrified.
does Darren. Darren does as well. In chat, he'll tell you don't, but I've seen it.
When I was playing Resident Evil 7, it was scaring the shit out of me. That was. I had to fucking turn it off. I don't know. They are fun. I love horror movies. But
I love the movies and the games. Matter of fact, I wish I could. One of these days, I'm gonna take the camera off where I've got it mounted and just show you some of the shelves above me.
What you really got to do is when it gets into VR, then you're really going to shit at bricks.
I've got several VRs. They don't fade.
VR horrors.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a few horror games out there.
Wow,
Exorcist
okay.
and all sorts, isn't there?
But actually, I've not picked up any of my VR headsets in probably about 8 months. I've not played with any of them.
Yeah, I'm not quite that long, but yeah, it's been a while. My problem is people want me to stream in VR, but I can't see the chat when I'm streaming in VR because I don't have a second window. So it's like I almost have to have somebody co-streaming with me to tell me what the hell's being said in chat or asked. You know,
I have to leave my
mod.
I have to leave my screen close to me and then just keep looking down at the screen.
I swear to God, if this motherfucker calls me one more goddamn time, I'm gonna cuss him out on your show, Stubbs.
Is it a Husk again? Husk is really,
No, dude, it's this fucking it's this real estate agent that handles a bunch of properties, in several different counties. And
is this the person that rings you at 9 at night on a Saturday night?
No, this ain't the same one.
Oh.
But they keep asking me to take all these properties, and I have no intention of working for them because the last time I did anything for them, they didn't want to pay.
Oh,
so
yeah, good luck in that. Yeah, screw you over once, you ain't gonna get a chance a second time.
That's it. You don't. If I have a hard time collecting my money from you the first time, I'm not doing anything for you another time. And he has called 4 times since this podcast started.
Ooh, Timmy.
Welcome. It's Timmy.
Tell him he needs to put the entire amount in your account before you'll even start the job. There you go.
I've actually got a couple of clients I do that with. they have to pay.
Some can't be trusted. You have to do it. Yeah.
I give them a price. They have to pay me up front, and then we do whatever it is we have to do.
Don't blame you.
No, exactly.
And one of them is a bank.
That doesn't surprise me because, to be honest with you, corporations will always look for any particular loophole to just eke out a payment. Yeah. But woe betide if you're even 3 seconds behind them.
So when you've had trouble collecting money, have you ever looked them in the eye and said, "Look, I can put all this crap back where I found it. Not a problem."
Oh, actually, I've done worse. We have taken. We actually took everything back and dumped it, and brought more stuff and dumped it.
Wow!
And guess what? I got my money. And then I charged them extra to remove the extra
all the stuff you just dumped. Yeah.
Amen.
But yeah, they don't mess with me too much anymore on that end. Because the guy didn't think I would do it.
Removable.
Yep.
That summon spirit, it's a black knife quiche, right? That's the good one, right?
What was that?
In Elden Ring, the spirit summons a black knife quiche, right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yep.
I think you two should do a podcast talking about Elden Ring. You and VJ.
We've been trying to avoid that now. That's just it's over and done with. It's polite.
There we go. We got Elden Ring in. Welcome, everyone. We've got Elden Ring.
I'm still waiting to do one on the Hollow Knight with the Indie Gamer.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I think when Silk Song's released, that will be a VJ.
I think I'll be talking to I'll be talking to Indie Gamer over Xbox probably every night for about 3 months when that game releases. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I'll have to send in screenshots. I'll have to send in videos to prove my progress.
He does do this, by the way. I can absolutely confirm it.
I was conscripted.
2 a.m. in the morning. Ding! There's a screenshot. Oh, okay.
Is there any more thoughts on this PlayStation Plus topic? Animated?
Not really.
No?
See, I don't know because I don't have a PlayStation. I have my views on the entire service as a whole that aren't necessarily all positive, but I'm not going to get into it.
You not positive, Cerebral? Don't believe it.
Well, no, it's just.
I can't believe it
But see, it's just, I think they can do better. That's all I'm going to say there. I think they can do better.
They will, and they will in the future. They will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been invested in PlayStation since the PS3 days, so a bit late for me to give my opinion, isn't it?
That's fair enough.
No, I think you do yourself a disservice, Animated. You've been playing games 20 years, so you're bound to have some view on it, right? Because if it's not pulling you in, then obviously it's not really doing its I'm not saying it's not doing its job, but if it's depending on to what degree you've got your interest peaked, either 0 being well, I didn't even know it existed, to 10, like, I can't wait to get hold of a PS5. I think that has a bearing, right? Because you're exactly the customer that they're trying to get to invest into their ecosystem besides the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah, I suppose you're right in that fact. And the thing is, it's not there for me to pull me in. It's not worth the expense to me to go from the current gen Xboxes to PlayStation when most of my time is spent in front of my Xbox. Yeah. So it's not value for me to purchase it. So
and that dictates the fact that Xbox is doing more than enough to keep you in their ecosystem and not be distracted by, you know, other people's dangly crown jewels, shall we say.
Fair enough. I will try and get a PS5 if I can some point this year. I will, definitely.
Can you get me one as well? Because I heard Wilmy's selling them for 4K each.
Bye, Goat.
Bye, Goat.
Oh, see you later, Goat. So this will be this is just a little topic on something Paul will have much more expertise in. The Global Accessibility Awareness Day. It was Thursday, the 19th of May 2022. It marked the 11th Global Accessibility Awareness Day. And
who gives a damn about those people? They can go watch games on YouTube. Oh, wait.
So, I mean, off the site, it's not all about, because I obviously misunderstood it until I read the website. It's about global accessibility, not just in gaming, on websites,
right?
Browsing the internet, doing your shopping. It's very vast.
I'll be back.
I just gaming.
We hear swearing. We know what's going to happen.
It's on literally anything. About apparently 98.1% of global homepages with at least.
Can I hear you? Okay. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
He's on the phone.
Wait, we get to listen to this, I think.
Hey, no. I've got a question for you. I've got a question. Have you ever fucked the billy goat all your heart really desired? Seriously. Okay, fuck you too.
Tushi, he done that. He did say he was going to do it.
Oh.
Oops, sorry.
The subtle conversations awesome. You have, you know, with Husk is great.
it was a fair question. I thought it was a fair question.
Did he respond though? That's what I want to know. Did he respond with only says, on the summer?
Maybe I should stop calling. I'm like, yep, maybe you should.
That's fair enough. That is, but yeah.
If you didn't answer the first fucking 4 times, I'm gonna. What was the hint?
I'm telling you, dude. People are just. I don't know. It's weird.
But no, I was on about this Global Accessibility Awareness Day. So I didn't realise it was much more than gaming, Cerebral Paul. So it says that 98.1% of homepages with at least one WCAG 2.0 failure globally. Now, I don't quite know what that means, but a lot of it's still errors on websites.
Right.
Low contrast on homepages. So basically, the highest one they've done a poll. Most common accessibility failures on homepages alone is low contrast text, 86%, and there's also missing alt text, empty links, missing form input labels, empty buttons, missing document language. There's so much more. It's really big. It's not just gaming.
No, it's
really, and it says there's 1 billion people worldwide who have disabilities. It could be more than that, but that's what the website says. It is.
Yep, they can only go by what people claim, and yeah, the big one is the alt text one is a big one, and not for me necessarily, but some of the other ambassadors are blind and stuff, and we're always told, dude, you need to remember to put alt text in your stuff, because like Discord doesn't automatically do it or automatically prompt for it, so we actually have to manually go in, and after we put in our picture, alt text whatever the picture is, because that's something that Discord itself needs to work on. But
just
yeah,
for
there's
those
a lot.
Probably don't know, Cerebral. What is alt text? Because I know some
alt text is if I drop a picture in line that say for some odd reason I drop a picture of Wilmy fucking a billy goat or something. I don't know.
Yay. Tushi. Why did you say that?
So I have to put in after the picture included if they click on the picture that it says alt text Wilmy Hood fucking a billy goat, you know. But that's all alt text is. It's a description of whatever the image is. So, you know, I might say, and it could be as little or as much if it has to be, you know, it's Phil Spencer wearing a black shirt, talking to a crowd at Xbox at one of the expos. But it will give information about what that photo is so they can at least mentally see what we're looking at. You know, because people are going to address the picture, you know. So that's all that is. And, you know, a lot of it, the browsers do for us. We can make the text bigger, smaller. Some of the sites have the light mode and the dark mode, which help with some of the contrast issues.
I use dark mode.
Yeah,
I do.
I prefer dark mode too on many of the sites. Just because that way I don't have a big glaring white screen in my face the whole time. You know? So, but yeah, just little things like that people don't necessarily think of when they're designing web pages or whatever. Or, you know, for whatever purpose, be it games or things like that. They also introduced over the last month, Microsoft has introduced a new stuff to the Surface tablets, hardware and software for accessibility. Because even though Global Accessibility Awareness Day was only for one day, you kind of take the whole month and you kind of feed some stuff in. In November, we'll have National Disability Employee Awareness Month, where we actually get a whole month, you know. But it's, and like I've always said, for me, it's just, at least in the gaming side, I want it to become part of the daily discussion, not a special event discussion, you know. When we're reviewing games, we should, one of the little check marks in a review should be the accessibility, you know, where does it rate? And I understand that a lot of people that aren't disabled don't really know how to look at that stuff and go, I don't know if this is good or bad. Reach out to those of us who can tell you. We'll tell you, if it, you know, because it needs to become a bigger part of the discussion so that there's more things that we can do and enjoy and be part of than where we're at now. And trust me, we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go as well.
Most definitely. It was good. It's good to see on the site. It was because I obviously thought it was about gaming, but it's about every facet, But the reason I also linked the God of War with Ragnarok was because it isn't often PlayStation gets a mention for accessibility features, and they've packed in 70+ accessibility options.
The game that's coming to Gamepass this week, it's all supposed to be loaded with accessibility, is Sniper Elite 5.
Well, that's good then.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
So they did a thing on last Thursday, but I was on my way to MegaCon that day, so I couldn't see it. But so when it launches, tomorrow or the day after, I will be going through that and looking at it, seeing what it has in the way of accessibility. Another game that just dropped the Game Pass, Jurassic World Evolution 2, it has some accessibility stuff. Doesn't work as well as I think it should, but at least it's there. You know, and I'm going to actually message them because on the things where you can change the settings, there's no changes to show you what it's actually doing. So you can't really tell if it's working or not.
So basically, yeah, you need a preview basically to see if it's
right.
What you want.
because colorblind, I don't know if everybody may know this, not everybody may. It's more than just the inability to see shades of red or green. There's actually 3 or 4 different types of colorblindness that affect different people differently. So that's why a lot of games have multiple modes for colorblindness.
Yeah, because I heard some people can't see yellow. They can't.
Right.
Well, as part of that, I got told that recently.
There's a few different types. So I think the red and green is the most common. But
see, I learned something. I had no clue.
No,
but I'm sure you've all seen it in the menu options for some of your games. But you probably just because it's not something you think about, you don't, you know, it doesn't take any place. You go, oh, that's there, that's cool, but because you're not looking for it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fairness to what you were saying, even those who are reviewing games, we still forget about these things. And it's not, it is. You're right. It needs to be, as you said, part of a conversation or part of something that's always been almost like a checklist. For even
right. It's almost the same checklist. Gameplay, frames per second, everything else that all your reviewers look at. That should be on the list. Does it have accessibility options? If so, what are they? Most of them are. I'll bet you some of them been there so long you don't even realize they're there for accessibility, closed captioning, things like that. The ability to put a box around the closed captioning so it doesn't blend in with the picture. The ability, all that stuff. Yeah, size of text. All that stuff has been in there for so long that it's become part of the normal. You expect to see it. Mm-hmm. And you realize that that's some of the earliest forms of accessibility going back 20, 30 years. And just more recently, they've started to do more and more and more with different types of accessibility. Yeah. And
I'm correct in thinking that is the Xbox, and I know we're just talking about Xbox here, not the actual website, which the event that happened. They have a kind of checklist, isn't it?
They do, and I used to have a link to it around here somewhere. But yeah, they're always updating it. They do have a checklist of things that they would like to see, things that are feasible within not only their games but also within their other programs as well, because they have a whole area called Microsoft Accessibility, MS Enable on Twitter, where they go through everything. That's how they came up with the accessibility kit for the tablet that I just mentioned the name of a few minutes ago that I now can't remember. But and the sticker kits and the to the point of like that you can label the chords so you can tell by the feel of the label which chord it is, so you know which one's the mic chord or the speaker chord.
Yep.
All that stuff. And they're one of the they are, and I always sound like a shill when I say this, but Microsoft is taking the lead in all of that.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
They have for about the last 7 years or so. It really is amazing. The accessibility controller, even Gamepass itself, I consider it an accessibility issue because I can now try games without buying them and going, well, shit, I can't play this and wasting $60. Yeah, so I go ahead.
Guess you're about one question I would like to, one question I'd like to say to you. Clearly, as you said, you've gone quite a far away from how it was originally. How do we get better? Is the question, I suppose, is how do we progress further where, as you said, it is part of a constant conversation or at least part of a checklist?
I'll be right back, guys. 10
minutes. Okay.
Yeah. No worries.
I got a dog that really wants to go outside.
Yeah, no problem. So,
yeah, cool.
Aside from the next steps in the games, because even I realized that not every accessibility feature fits every game. You don't want a God mode in like PvP games because that's just not cool. But but things like snap 2 aiming is helpful, be it on different levels for different people. But at the same time, we have to change the discussion where you have games like let's say Elden Ring, which I actually have tried to play Elden Ring, people, just so y'all know. I've spent many hours trying to play Elden Ring. But to sit there and say it should never have an easy mode because that wasn't the vision of the developer, and basically being told if you can't play it, well, too bad for you. Also being told to get good, my favorite phrase. Yes, absolutely. That mentality needs to stop. Okay. I want to enjoy these games as much as you do. And for you to say that some mode they put into a game is going to take away from your enjoyment or make it unfair because I will get the same achievement or trophy you will, and you've had to work, I had to work through it on the hard way. And you know what? Even on easy mode, I can tell you right now, that game for me will be just as hard as it is for you. Okay. So that side of the conversation needs to start going away. The gatekeeping needs to stop. And the developer needs to not give in to that pressure and go, you know what? We want everybody to play this damn game. You know, Psychonauts did it, and they took a hell of a lot of heat for putting in invincibility mode.
I used that mode a few times, you know, and some of the bosses I couldn't fucking beat.
Yeah.
I think
because
it depends on the developer, though.
It does.
As like, for instance, Elden Ring, for instance, he did simply state, "Is like, this is never going to happen. This is the way I've envisaged it. It's not going to happen." But
it's almost never the developer that says that. It's always the fan base that says that.
But in this case, it was the actual developer.
Yeah, well, he can. Yeah, but he can say that.
Not just you. You don't know whether you agree with him or not in this particular case, and then I'll only say in this instance, because normally, as you quite rightly said, it's normally the fan base stating that rather than the actual developer. And in this instance, I think if he wants to make it and limit his audience, fine. Yeah, that's his choice.
If he wants to stop millions of people from playing his game, that's on him. That's millions of eyes.
That's exactly that. Yeah. Where if it's the case of the fan base, then I think they should kind of butt out slightly.
And the other side may also be that at some point, if they ever for some reason did want to put Elden Ring on Game Pass, Microsoft can come back and say only if you do XYZ. And then that, and one of those XYZs could be you need to put in an easy mode. You need to put in this accessibility option.
Exactly that.
You need to, because, what was it? Deathloop. I have not tried Deathloop yet, but Deathloop was done before Bethesda was part of Microsoft. And so Deathloop has almost no accessibility options in it. Now, whether those are good, we know Deathloop is coming to Xbox. So whether some of those options are going to be added in after the fact, we don't know yet. But it's going to be interesting to see because it is part of Microsoft's thing to put some of those things in so that they are playable by more of the gaming populace.
Well, that's going to probably highlight how much of I wouldn't say pressure, but indication of, I suppose it is slight pressure, will be moving onto their service. Onto their platform, isn't it? It's like they'll have a list, and will they enforce that list a little harder than usual, or will they simply say, "This is the list you should try and hit"? And I think that's going to be the perfect example of are they trying or are they enforcing?
Well, and the other issue is going to be even if they don't do anything with Deathloop, games going forward might be you need to try to hit some of these things. It was funny when they did. What was it? I want to say it was either the Ascent or Hades, one of those two. When it came to console, I tried to play it and I couldn't play it. And there were no accessibility options, and everybody was going, "Oh well, that's just the way they designed it." Blah blah blah. The designer came out the next day and said, "Oops, we forgot to add that stuff to the console side." Give it and flip and patch, and it was all there. So again, that comes down to the player base going, well, they just didn't want to have it in there, and then the player base being absolutely wrong because yes, they did. They just forgot to flip that switch, basically. I
suppose this leads into the question I was trying to aim for: is like, how do you consistently keep that discussion happening rather than as I'll use as a developer term, oops, we forgot about it, let's add it in. Because if it's on your mind consistently, and I've fought with this myself in terms of reviewing, I've done it, I try to remember, and sometimes I fail in that regards, because it doesn't affect me as much as compared to other people. How do you keep that moving forward? How do you keep that, I wouldn't say pressure, but keep that in the back of your mind, or keep that in your mind on a regular basis? How
like everything else, it will. Well, that's got to become a part of the normal. Repetition. It's got to become let's say you did a review for a game and you forgot to do anything in the realm of accessibility. So update that review. Go back and do it. Either tack it on to the video that you have, or go do a new video and go, last time I did this, but here's an update. I went back and looked at the accessibility. Here's where it passes. Here's where it fails. Just so that it becomes part of the reviewer's everyday process, because even, I've asked Ains and Tag Guy Travis over from Seasoned Gaming and IGN respectively about that stuff. And they go, I really don't know because I don't know what to look for. Well,
Ask the
part
question.
of me wants to go, yeah. Then
Well,
hell,
actually,
even
that's a good thing because
if it even comes on to it, fine. Bring me on as a consultant. Let me have access to the game for 20 minutes, or
maybe
whatever.
I'm just thinking about it. Maybe that's something that needs to be shared on a more regular basis. Is that just like how they've maybe open sourced, maybe an open source checklist needs to be shared among the industry, including those who review, those who critique. So there is no excuse of
and maybe I need to talk to Travis and Ains and say, look, even if I can't play the game, give me a list of all the controls you have, and I'll tell you if it meets or beats any accessibility issues. At least then you can address it on the outside.
But I mean, even a simple checklist would be helpful, wouldn't it? In terms of, I'm just trying to play both sides here, but even just for them, for a simple checklist of like high contrast, subtitles that can be, upgraded scales.
Text scaling is a big thing, and there's some games. Again, I think it was the Ascent where the text scaling was just, you could scale the subtitles, but the actual in-game text for the little text boxes was barely readable. I mean, and you couldn't do jack about it. It was, it was like, wow, so it's those like, little things that
he's back.
Yeah, I can tell.
Oh, I've been back. I'm just sitting here listening to Paul.
Yeah. But it's those little things, and I'm not in a position to get those changes done. Because
Well, no. In fairness, you're talking about it, so you are in a position.
Yeah,
you are literally here in that position, helping those who possibly aren't understanding, or helping those, informing those of these aspects. So you are. You just may not appreciate it.
Well, I mean, it's let's just say I'm no offense to Stubbs or anybody here, but unless we're getting really freaky views, that the people who really need to make these changes aren't the ones listening to this show.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know. It's not like 2,000 people sat in chat, is it?
Right. And as much as I'd like to get on some of the bigger shows and have this discussion, hey, those invites aren't coming. So, for whatever reason,
Look, I can only do so much for you, dude.
Gaming Beyond the Box is a little different. We go from talking about vibrators to gaming news right back to vibrators or where Fork has stuck himself lately, So
that sounds just like a DM with Tushi, to be honest.
Yeah.
Your personality has to carry you further.
Yeah. My problem is, and I've said this before, and we kind of talked about this. I'm not going to be one of those guys that purposely says things to get clicks, or I'm just going to be me. I'm gonna talk honestly about the way I feel about things. I'm not going to purposely push the console warrior crap or anything like that.
That whole personality thing.
Yeah. How dare I have one, or not be willing to just get the clicks, to get the eyes, because I want to be seen for, hey, he's honest. This is his point of view.
The brand
good,
personality versus the original personality.
Yeah, well, yeah. As Carlo and Dreadpool can tell you, when you talk to Dreadpool later, you can ask him. I'm just as bad in real life as I am on here. So, because they spent 4 days with me at MegaCon Orlando, so they know.
Oh, I know, because we had Dreadpool and Suicide Watch.
Oh, I heard they treated you to a piece of pineapple pizza. Is that right?
No, they did not. No, they did not. They
who lives in a pineapple under the sea.
Whatever that was that Dreadpool bought me for Breaking Bread with Dread, that was not pizza. Okay, I don't know what the hell that was. It was inedible.
It was bread. Duh.
Isn't pineapple quite accessible in your neck of the woods?
Well, what's that?
He's
I
in
was just gonna
Florida,
say-
dude. Anything's accessible in Florida.
Oh, there you go.
That's
there's
true,
no
yeah,
accessibility issues with pineapple. That's great. That's all I need.
No, I actually had somebody from Microsoft mail me 2 cans of pineapple. Okay, I'm not going to go.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
That tells you that we're being listened to.
Yeah.
Was she swearing at that point?
Yes.
How's VJ
So-
cut my dress?
So I just think it needs to become a regular part of the discussion when we're talking, when especially reviewers when they're talking about the game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And to be honest with you, there isn't really, even if you do look, and I include myself in this, which I will try to get better at. I think you're right.
Yeah.
In terms of reviewing and critiquing, it is one of the things that consistently gets forgotten
Well,
about.
and then they tell me, well, there are sites, where people like you, excuse me, review games and talk about that stuff. Well, why should it have to be a special site? Seriously, it really shouldn't have to be.
Yeah, Let's Play Games
Yeah.
shouldn't have to exist. Should it?
People
It should
like-
really
people
be
like
part
you,
and
huh?
parcel.
People like you. That's interesting.
Yeah, you like that? Wilmy, I don't know if you see some of the replies to some of my stuff when I get in these discussions. I know these guys do. But yeah, I get
I
that
just wanna
reference
be-
a lot. I get that kind of stuff a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Paul, you
That's
should
when you,
dedicate.
that's when you
So go
that's
on.
when you comment back and go, well, your type of people, assholes.
Yeah.
Can have a special site.
And he does.
Yeah. I usually, and I've said before, that's the one hard part sometimes about being a quote Xbox ambassador is I can't say what I really want to say often.
Biting your
Oh,
lip.
like,
yeah,
oh.
you can. Yeah, you can. Because I used to be one.
Well,
You
yeah,
say
but
what you want.
You
And
used to be one.
when they kicked me off, I gave 2 shits.
well, yeah. But
Because
I
some
right now
people are
I
stupid.
right now I view it as it has given me a platform, so I have to to
A platform,
hopefully
yeah,
make
which
things
you're hoping to
to
help
make
out.
things
Yeah, I
better.
can
Yeah,
see.
hoping to make things better. So yeah.
You should dedicate your YouTube channel to doing accessibility reviews for all the games in Game Pass and stuff.
Exactly.
I'm not good at writing reviews and stuff. I'm not. I can come up with little bits and pieces, but I'm not good at
Well, not necessarily, not even necessarily
constructing a review.
writing it. You could stream it
Oh.
and basically discuss about it.
Yeah.
But then
Oh,
I suppose
What's that?
Go on.
Wilmy, what's that? Wilmy's trying to say something. I hear him.
Can I give you an idea, dude?
Sure.
You're saying you're not good at doing reviews, right?
Right. I'm not good at structuring
Well-
a structured review type of thing. Yeah.
Well, I'm not really good at podcasting, but we've got 19,000 subscribers. There's always hope, dude. Somebody will listen.
That's true.
true, very true.
I mean, just put it out there, and the more
Yep.
you do it, the better you'll get.
But I have to say, with your podcast, Wilmy, which was one of the first ones I really listened to, and then first one I was on, was part of what made it fun to listen to was the fact that it wasn't so structured, that it was fun, and that you were just I mean, even that's what got me. I was responding in the chat, and you were, I caught your attention. Within like 3 weeks, you were like, "Holy shit!" Because it seemed like a bunch of guys just having fun.
That's what it is.
That's the point. And if you can do that with reviews,
Yeah,
you'll have somebody that will watch.
yeah.
Exactly.
I should try that. I think I'll wait till after Niagara Comic Con just because I gotta, that's only a week away. I don't want to get into anything until I have more of a quote open schedule, as it were. But yeah, I think I've been talking about doing it. I want to get some screens done and stuff. And I'm sure with our contacts, I have some people who can help me do some layouts and stuff. Because I've had some ideas, even for some quick takes. I've thought like, getting Cerebral for a minute, and doing a quick little, it would be more than a minute because that would like take no time at all. But the idea of doing like little quick takes on some of these news things that come up when I hear everybody talking all this stuff and I'm like, what the hell are these people saying? I'd like to get my point of view out there just really quick, and maybe that can add to something as well. I don't know. I've been
Exactly.
thinking, yeah.
But
You
you've got
don't
a
know
lot of
till you
support
try.
around you.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got a lot of support around you anyway. If anybody, there's loads of people that can help you
Yeah.
Mhm.
if you're stuck on anything.
Because what I
Okay.
found is I can't do, if I script something, I sound very stiff when I'm trying to do a script. But if I just like when I'm talking to you guys, I don't sound as nervous or as anything. But if I try to script something, all of a sudden I'm trying to remember stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't like scripts.
Yeah, even when I was a kid, when I was a poster child when I was like 10 years old, and they used to love the fact that I would respond,
Were you the
off the cuff.
For birth control or
yeah, March of Dimes, which is almost the same thing. But they would try to they would try to script stuff for me to repeat funny stuff I had said in previous interviews or whatever. And as soon as they did that, I couldn't do it because that's just not who I am, and I still can't. I have to just kind of ad lib my responses, my quick comebacks and stuff. They aren't scripted. I don't think about them. Well, if Umi says this, I'm going to say that. I can't do that. I don't look for cues. I have a smart ass. I have a smart ass and a smart mouth, Yeah,
but sometimes speaking, you can make off the cuff content. It doesn't have to be scripted.
Right.
I'm proof for that.
Yeah. Oh, well, and I'm better at that. And people say, why don't you do your own podcast? If I could figure out like somebody to, because I can't do it by myself. I need somebody to bounce off of. Is as weird as that sounds. I need at least one more person to go to work with. But then once I do that,
because if I dedicated to pineapple as much as you are.
Shut up, asshole.
Did someone mention pineapple?
Yeah. So I mean, these are all little things I have in my head, but I don't know. I kind of don't know the next steps to take. But the review thing, I'm going to look at that, and the other thing as well, for sure. Podcasting, I do enough shows that I really don't need to do on my own channel. That just you're
on what, like 30 for some odd reason?
What's that?
You're like on what, 30 different podcasts or something?
No, right now I'm on 4, I think. And I don't consider the Tuesday night thing a podcast. That's just a bunch of guys getting together and talking bullshit for like 2 hours.
Yeah, don't be telling Jay that that's a podcast. He won't be happy. He's not.
No, But no, I do I do Tuesdays, I do Thursdays, I do Sundays, or Wednesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, and then Tuesday I do the Retro Renegades. And then with the Thursday one, that's for GQ TV, and so I also do the interviews and stuff we do with the industry folks from the comic book creation side and the gaming side and the voiceovers and all that. And then of course I have my own show on the Xbox Ambassador channel on Monday. So I'm on 4 or 5 different things a week.
You've named like 8 already.
Shut up.
Before you start that channel, learn to count, Paul.
Counting is overrated.
Only if you can't do it.
But that was a very fun, fun topic. That was. It's you got a deeper. The thing about accessibility, you are right. It is a thing that should be in the daily conversation of gaming and in general. It's I never thought
releasing complete games too, but nobody's talking about that shit either.
Oh yeah,
right.
They don't listen, do they?
Nope.
Yeah. We'll just call it a live service game. Then they shut up.
Yeah, your live service, Paul. There you go. Problem solved.
There you go.
But yeah, it's been a fun show tonight. It has. We've hit all the topics. And thanks for coming on, Wilmy Hood.
Anytime, dude. I told you I'd be here.
I have to get you back on more often and not like, well, you said it.
He's a busy man.
Sure, it was. You said to me it was when we first started Midweek Gaming. It's 2 years this year. It is. So it's been a long time. Too long. It has. But it's because I'm terrible at inviting people on, as my panel will tell you. I'm bloody awful.
It's true.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, Wilmy Hood.
Anytime, dude.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you, even though you've got a massive channel?
It's not massive, dude, by any means.
You've got the big numbers there, mate. You've done well. You have.
It's interesting. It gives me something to do on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Because my wife watches that show, that 600 Pound Life, and I really got tired of watching fat people lose weight.
and probably thinking at the same time, I'm going to be cleaning their house soon. So
I've had my share of those. But you can find me on YouTube under Gaming Beyond the Box every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find me on Twitter under Wilmy Hood, unless you're one of the 240,000 people I got blocked. You can find me on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam, all at Wilmy Hood. Yes, I do play games, and no, none of my trophies or achievements are hidden. So, yeah, look me up. That's it.
Thanks for coming on, mate. And Animated Evil, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been nice to welcome Mr. Wilmy Hood. And again, thanks, guys. Always appreciate being on. You can find me Animated Evil 857 on Xbox and Twitch. Animated_Evil on YouTube and Twitter.
Thanks for coming on, mate. And Mr. Tushi with his vaping machines. Thanks for coming on.
The guy that shows pictures of his ass on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that got a lot of interactions, that did.
That's the safe work stuff you don't see. Trust me. That's
the funny part. They put a warning now under everything I post.
They do. Like, I'll tweet out. I've watched GBTV on Spotify. The Woman Hood will reply with the thank you meme, and it will say sensitive. Thank you.
You can show your ass on Twitter, and nobody.
Well,
says
Twitter is sensitive.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I've done that. It was just so stupid in my mind. It's good fun though. Anyway, thanks for having me on again. It's been fun again.
Mm.
Thanks for having me back.
I will try and make it more often as I can.
Tushi, I was thinking you should try to make it more often. I mean, you really should.
He's doing well so far.
I think it's his work is his biggest problem.
Oh yeah,
I can relate.
Yeah,
it has helped. We're at 9 o'clock now. The start
yeah,
time.
it's a lot better. The problem was I was finishing the podcast, and by the time I get to bed, it's like 1 a.m, and I'm up at 4 o'clock.
Oof.
It's just crazy. And try and do like a 12-15 hour shift on that is sort of hell.
It is.
Yeah.
Have you got a community game night this week?
I have. This week we're actually playing Sniper Elite 5. Which I'm really looking forward to that.
Yay!
Yeah. Everyone should be evenly leveled out as well, because on the Sniper Elite 4, there's some people that are quite high level compared to everybody else, have better guns and stuff like that.
Okay. Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Just find me anywhere. Just find me as Mr. Tushy anywhere.
Nice one. And VJ, thanks for popping on. It's been a fun one. I knew you'd mention pineapple, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me on today. It was nice to meet you, Wilmy. I know you occasionally like my tweets. I have no idea why, but thanks anyway. And it was nice for Paul to join us a little later on. And
he just came on because I was here. That's the only reason.
Probably.
Actually, there's some truth to that. Actually, but yeah.
I was just surprised.
He has a thing for me, dude. It's kind of weird and creepy.
Yeah. It's okay. You haven't found the cameras in your hallway yet, so
I've got cameras everywhere, but they all belong to me. Trust me.
I'm just a little dazed because I never thought I'd be on a show where Paul would take up more airtime than me. But there you go. Wonders never cease. And hopefully see you next week, Mr. Subs. And again, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, VJ. And RemovableSanity, thanks for coming on.
No, much appreciated. Obviously, a big thank you for having our superstar of the day, Wilmy Hood. He is well worth a follow. And again, after this, do jump onto his show. It is a delight. It is fun. Of course, it's great to hopefully have Tushi back on. Hopefully, the work pending, we'll see him more often. And all the other panel members. It's great to obviously be here again. And thank you so much for having me on to have a chat. If you're bored, really seriously bored, you can find me on Minds, YouTube, Twitter, and Xbox under the name RemovableSanity.
I can't believe you haven't plugged your latest review removable that you just put
There we
out.
go.
I'm just bad at stuff like this, okay?
Come on. Do it.
If you want to review and see some indie games, I have them on the YouTube channel. Please have a look.
Or if you want to see some really indie game reviews, go to the Indie Gamers channel. I think he's still in here.
Wow, yeah.
Wow.
He does do some reviews. Yeah, I've seen a couple on there.
And he reviews indie games. I know that's a shock, right?
Thanks for coming on, Removable. And thanks for coming on, Cerebral. Where can people find you? I think you've already done that once.
Yeah, you can find me in.
Just mention his name, he pops up in a pineapple.
What? Hey. Cerebral Paul 921 on Xbox, Cerebral Paul 1 on Twitter, and then Cerebral Paul on YouTube and Twitch. And of course, I've already said earlier where all the different shows I'm on, so I'm not going to repeat all that stuff. So if you want to go back about 10 minutes and you'll hear it all go off. So there you go. Oh, we lost VJ already. He just said enough is enough. So there you go.
He got tired of hearing you talk, Paul. That's all.
Which is strange for VJ because usually he talks all the time.
You've really miffed him off, taking over his show. How dare you, Cerebral?
I know. Yeah. So
got him
thanks
back for these pineapple quirks.
Thanks, Stubbs, for having me. And Wilmy, it's always great fun to be on a show with you. Seriously, I know we only do it like once a year, but we need to kind of up that number. So I think because it's always a lot of fun.
Well, I intended to have you on earlier, but we held off for like a month and a half this year, so
yeah,
I didn't do anything.
And let's see, and then of course, what are we up to? In about 2 weeks and a day will be my 2-year anniversary for podcasting. June 10th was the day I was first on Gaming Beyond the Box.
And
so there you go.
I was there live.
Yeah.
Are you going to be on the podcast for that? To celebrate it?
I was on their podcast a few weeks ago, so probably not. I mean, unless Wilmy wants to have me on again. It's also the anniversary of the it's also the anniversary of the original slap before Will Smith did it. Fork Boy's wife did it.
Yeah. That's why we have pulled some very crazy on-air shenanigans.
Yeah, but that one was solid gold, man. That really was.
Yeah, and the bad part, we actually had people trying to steal that and add it to their videos and stuff. Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Didn't try and claim it was their content, not yours, or something?
Yeah, we had people that were downloading that show and were clipping that slap and were adding it into their videos. So every time that would happen, YouTube would send me an email notifying me of it. And I logged in, it was like 2 weeks after the show, and I had a list like this long on my computer screen of different YouTube videos that had taken that clip.
I remember
and were using it.
Wow.
Goodness.
Because didn't they try and claim it as their own content as well or something?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly,
There's loads of companies that try and do that with content. It's insane.
It's but we all know it was Fork and his wife, and she caught him. I mean, he was expecting it, but she caught him harder than he thought. And caught the headset.
You can see the surprise in his face. It's literally.
Oh yeah.
It was great.
I miss but he just, like I said, he's got 4 kids, man, and works all the time. I don't know how he was able to do podcasting as long as he did. So
Yep, and his videos with his socks are cute. I never want to be near his sock drawer.
I'm confused. I am because he does a podcast with socks. I don't know. He does.
Yeah, it's his kid. It's him and his kids.
Oh, well, now it makes sense. Okay, that's fair enough.
Yep.
He wanted to do something with his kids, man, and that, I mean, it. Like I tell everybody that's on my panel, it's all about family.
Exactly.
That's what it's about. Family's first. Everything else is second. Family has to be first. So
So he went off, did his thing with his kids. Husk went off to focus on his education. They got to do what they got to do.
Exactly.
So thanks everybody in the chat as well. Thanks everybody on the panel, and I should be here next week, even though the next morning I will be leaving for Niagara. So
Falls, that is.
Yep. Yeah. So that should be fun.
But yeah, thanks to the chat tonight. It's been fun. Darren, Lazy Few, loads of people, and Indie Gamer, Telegonic as well. It's Timmy. There's been loads tonight. But yeah, thanks for popping in, everyone. Now, I knew somebody would say that. Indie Gamers just said Viagra.
It's close enough.
Viagra doesn't fall. No, that's
How would you know, sir?
Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
See you.